Happiness is the absence of desire. This is one of my favorite quotes and insights, and I'm going to be talking about it in this video. But before I do, please do hit the subscribe button and hit like if you enjoy the video. So I was being interviewed on a podcast recently, and we were talking about all sorts of things, including some of the key themes that have come up from my book and that I talk about in my talks, which is around the difference between success and success evangelism and flow. So I would say that culturally, we tend to be of the view that success is synonymous with happiness and fulfillment. We think that when we get X, we will be happy. The house, the job, the retirement. I talk about sport and it's heightened. So World Cups, Olympic gold medals, Wimbledon trophies, whatever it may be. And in both instances, in normal life and in elite sport, there are so many examples of people who've got there only to be left with a sense of, is that it? Emptiness. And even in quite extreme cases, like really strong, like dark nights of the soul. So therefore, we say success is not synonymous with what we want, which is fulfillment and happiness. But flow is inherently enjoyable. You can't be in flow and not feel fulfilled when you're immersed. And basically, you merge with the activity. You become one with what you're doing. If you're playing tennis, you become the game. And the beauty of it is your sense of self disappears and what is revealed. That's the key element. So, my host, who was interviewing me on this podcast, said that he was a football fan, and he said that the conversation got him thinking about what was his favorite moment when he went to watch his team, and he loved the normal stuff, going with his family, the atmosphere, all the stuff, etc. But he said my favorite moment is when someone from my team has kicked a ball and it's heading into the net, and he absolutely knows that a goal is about to be scored, but it's that split second before the ball hits the back of the net. I said to him, why do you think that is? And he said, I don't know. And I said, well, in that moment, and it's a split second, in that moment, he's not seeking, he doesn't want a goal to be scored. A goal has been scored. So he's not seeking for the goal that he's been longing for the whole match. That desire has been satiated. He's not resisting in that brief moment what is happening either, the opposition running down the other end. And so the mind is neither seeking nor resisting, and so it settles. And as the mind settles, because the mind is continually either seeking or resisting, going into the future, reminiscing on the past, and when it settles, that inherent joy and peace that is underneath, prior to, throughout the mind shines. And then, of course, the mind comes and says, oh, it was the goal. And it comes back online. Oh, we need to get another one. Or well, the opposition can't score. And we're back into that seeking, resisting. And that football match is a metaphor for life in that example, because that is what happens, is that we spend our time trying to get to the next moment, seeking something different than what is currently present, or resisting what is present, feelings of boredom or whatever it may be. But in those moments when, if someone was to ask us and we go, there's nowhere I'd rather be, then the peace that is our nature shines. So what to do about this? Well, first of all, to understand that this is the case, and to just recognize this is what the mind does. So you might have that period of, I feel satiated. I've got whatever desire it is that I want. Perhaps it's a good meal, whatever it might be. But then notice that the mind very quickly comes up and is like, okay, but what next? So the mind itself is seeking and resisting, and that is obscuring the happiness and the peace of our nature. Whereas when there is no desire for this moment to be any different than it is, our peace can shine. So one, to notice that's what the mind does. Number two, where possible, to get in line with this moment, however it happens to be showing up. Even if the mind's saying, I don't like this, I'd rather some other future moment, or I really like this and I'm going to cling to it, just to get a bit of distance and get in line with this recognition that being in sync with this moment and now allows the peace of our nature to shine. And then just notice some of the funny times where this shows up. So I got a train on Saturday up to the north of England, and I was waiting under the board to see when the train was going to board. And it was just so clear that in this big room full of hundreds and hundreds of people waiting for their trains, everyone was waiting. That moment was meaningless. That moment of waiting under the board, its only purpose was to get to a more important moment, which was when we were all boarding the train. I look around and you just sense this restlessness and this desire to escape the moment, very subtle, that was present there. So that was not a desireless state for anyone. They were all desiring for time to hurry up and for them to get on their train. But if you can actually, I took them out, I was just looking around. How often are you in a room with that many people? Look at the cameras, look at the birds flying around, all the change that has happened in this nondescript massive station over a long period of time. And then the majesty and miraculousness of any moment suddenly comes alive. And so I met my friend when I eventually arrived at our destination in Manchester, and we were walking. And I was talking about that because we were walking to go to a bar to meet some other friends of ours. And I made this point, like, that walk to the bar was simply a transition moment in the mind to get to the bar where that's when life was going to happen. It's like, no, if we can recognize that any moment, even when the mind labels it as good or bad, is utterly miraculous, even down to the fact that there is this moment or something rather than nothing. Wow. There's something rather than nothing. Now, that is miraculous. The mind says it's good or bad. I like this. I don't like that. How about just, wow, one day we're going to die. There could be nothing rather than something. Just let go of desire as far as possible for this moment to be any different than it is, and allow the happiness of our true nature to arise, and stop thinking it's caused by the goal, getting the train, going to the bar, or all those myriad other things, and just recognize this moment now, desiring no different moment. That is true happiness and contentment. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like and subscribe. And also check out my Substack, which you can get to via my website, simonmundy.com. Bye.